Good day. It is July the 14th. And today we're going to be finishing up Ezra 6, through verses 19 through 22. Yep, finishing it up. And Proverbs 14. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, you may reach me through 810-242-2997. That's 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. And we begin Ezra 6, starting at verse 19. And the descendants of the captivity kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month. 20. For the priests and the Levites had purified themselves. All of them were ritually cleaned, and they slaughtered the Passover lambs for all the descendants of the captivity, for their brethren, the priests, and for themselves. 21. Then the children of Israel who had returned from captivity ate together with all who had separated themselves from the filth of the nations of the land in order to seek Yahweh Elohim of Israel. And 22. And kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy, for Yahweh made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria toward them to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of Elohim, the Elohim of Israel. Remember, Elohim now really means spirit, so this is his job title, like president. He is the spirit. Yahweh is the personal covenant. That's his personal name. That's what the covenant is, personal. So you're getting the power of Yahweh in the office of Elohim. Verse 19, and the descendants of the captivity got the Passover on the 14th day of the first month. We recorded Passovers in the Old Testament, celebrated they celebrated the restored order of worship and solemn rededication of a covenant relationship that makes it anew. It's like, look, it's like renewing your vows at a wedding every time they did a Passover. 20. For the priests and the Levites had purified themselves, all of them were ritually cleaned, and they slaughtered the Passover lambs for all the descendants of the captivity, for the brethren of the priests, and for themselves. The priests and Levites had been purified. 21. The children of Israel who had returned from the captivity, together with all those who had kept themselves from the filth of the nations of the land, in order to seek Yahweh of Israel, they returned, the rededication, and they returned from the heathens to rededicate themselves. 22. And they kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy, for Yahweh had made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria toward them to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of Elohim, the Elohim of Israel. So God is showing favor on him. He's turning the hearts of the king. There's a proverb that says the heart of the king is like water to be turned any way he wants. It's like a soaker hose. Proverbs 14. Every woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hand. 2. He that walketh in his uprightness feareth Yahweh, but he that is perverse in his ways despises him. You only love or despise God. That's the only choices. 3. In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. 4. Where no oxen are, the crib is clean. Yeah, there's no cows messing it up or anything like that. But much increase is by the strength of the ox. Which if you use the oxen, you're going to have increase. 5. A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness breatheth forth lies. 6. A scorner seeks wisdom and finds it not, but knowledge is easy unto him that has discernment. because the scorner's going, oh, that can't be right, that can't be right, that can't be right. Or if you have discernment, you go, oh, that is what's right. 7. Go from the presence of foolish men, for thou wilt not perceive the lips of knowledge. 8. The wisdom of the prudent is to look well to his way, but the folly of the fools is deceit. 9. A man is pleaded for fools, but among the upright there is goodwill. 10. The heart knoweth its own bitterness, and with its joy no stranger can intermeddle. You know how you feel. When you're joyful, no one can disturb it. 11. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tent of the upright shall flourish. 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. There is no right way without God. Any way without God leads to death. 13. Even in laughter the heart acheth, and the end of mirth is heaviness. 14. The dissembler in his heart is filled from his own ways. A good man should be satisfied from himself. 15. The thoughtless believe every word, but the prudent look well to his going. The thoughtless don't bother checking things out. 16. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but a fool behaveth overbearingly and is confident and stupid. 17. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly. The man of wicked devices is hated. 18. The thoughtless come in possession of folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. 19. The evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. 20. The poor is hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich have many friends. Yeah, the rich have lots of friends. 21. He that despises his neighbor sinneth, but he that is gracious unto the humble, happy is he. 22. Shall they not go astray that devises evil? Mercy and truth shall be for them that devise good. Devise good, you be in God's good side. 23. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only toward penury. The more you talk, the poorer you are, instead of doing. 24. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the folly of fools remains folly. 25. A true witness delivereth souls, but he that breatheth forth lies is all deceit. 26. In the fear of Yahweh, man has strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. 27. The fear of Yahweh is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. 28. In the multitude of people is the king's glory, but the want of people is the ruin of a prince, because they're not staying in his country. 29. He that is slow to anger is of great understanding, but he is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. 30. A tranquil heart is the life of the flesh, but envy is rottenness to the bones, because it eats at you. 31. He that oppresseth the poor blasphemeth his maker. Yeah, you oppress poor, you blaspheme God. But he that is gracious unto the needy honoreth him. God made everyone. 32. The wicked is thrust down in his misfortune, but the righteous, even when he is brought to death, has hope. There's always hope with God. 30. In the heart of him that has discernment, wisdom resteth. But in the inward part of fools maketh itself known. 34. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. And 35. The king's favor is toward a servant that dealeth wisely, but his wrath striketh him that dealeth shamefully, because it costs the king not only material things, but his reputation, and weakens his authority. I hope you've been blessed by this reading. May the Lord richly bless you. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, you may reach me through 810-242-2997. It's 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. Remember, Jesus loves you, so do I.